Hello, welcome to Stretford, Paddock. We are going to analyse Manchester United's 4-0 win over Everton. A fantastic win, wasn't it, Jay?
Did you just say 4-0?
Yes, we win
in the Premier League
now.
What is going on?
It's unbelievable. We're going to hear from Ruben Amorim as well. We've got some clips from his press conference coming up. We'll go through those. We've got a few things to talk about. I want to talk about some of the passing and the fact that Ahmad is just the best player in the Premier League at the moment. I want to give a little bit of praise to Joshua Zirkzee as well, because he's someone that has had a lot of stick. But I thought, whilst it wasn't a perfect performance, he did a lot of good things today. So we want to go through all that. Get your thoughts in the comments as well. But firstly, Jay, we haven't spoken about the game at all. What did you make of it?
It felt like the sort of times of old under Fergie, just comfortable wins against teams that, I'm not saying Everton offered a lot. They were poor, Everton, today. I think you could see they're a team sort of completely bereft of confidence, and I completely understand why they're near the bottom end of the table. But United did what we failed to do against teams that are struggling. We failed to capitalise on that. And in the end, we give teams that are struggling a confidence boost. And more often than not, they get a result at Old Trafford, or they at least make life very difficult for us. But United, just going forward, look confident, look comfortable. I'm mildly frustrated to see that Cobby and Miner's got them yellows that suspends them for the Arsenal game, because I'd want to see both of them play against the Arsenal. But other than that, it was a pretty sort of perfect performance from United. Yes, it's a poor position, but defensively solid. Onana, I think, had one save to make, one proper save that he made very well. Other than that, he didn't have a lot to do. And going forward, I mean, you know my thoughts on Diallo. I love the kid. I've been carried away with him for a little while, and today I just thought he was fantastic. And it's good to see him as well. You mentioned Joshua Zirkzee. Just being selfless with some of his decision-making in Amad Diallo. It's the one big criticism we give Garnacho at times. He can be a little bit greedy. His decision-making isn't spot on. But with Diallo, we did see him do very well. And it's interesting to see how he's sort of shining in that wing-back role. Because I remember, Ronnie, and you saying, like, you probably see him ended up in a number 10 role. And I agreed with you. I thought, he's too good almost to be at a wing-back. You need him near the business end of the pitch. But the way he's playing, he's doing both.
That's when you get a wing back doing the job properly. And obviously there's parts of being a wing back he's not fully doing yet, because he's just been doing it for 3 games. But you do get plenty of chances to be in the business end of the pitch, and he's been our most creative player, even from a sort of defensive role. I think.
Do you know what was interesting? I don't know if I've spoke to this on off camera. I don't think I've had the chance to speak to you on camera. Me and McCall went to the game on Thursday together. We had different tickets from where we usually sit, so we were right near the dugout. So I just became transfixed with Ruben Amorim. Just to be honest with you, I can't remember the score on Thursday. I was just watching him for about an hour. I love you, Ruben. And he was proper on Ahmad's case, like. Not in a being narky way, but constant, like, Ahmad. And Amad Diallo, to be fair, was listening to him and responding, but you could see he was focusing on him and making sure that he remembers his defensive duties, that he's in that right position, that he's pressing when he needs to press and he's dropping when he needs to drop. And it was interesting to see, just from a sort of close-up point of view, how much he focused on him. And it wasn't just him, there was other players he was giving feedback to or telling him what to do. But he did have a big thing about Ahmad, and it's paying dividends.
It is. I mean, let's have a look at our first little bit here, because it involves Ahmad, and this was 16 minutes into the game, so it's like United holding the possession a little bit just after this as well, where we lost a little bit of that control. But you can see here Mazraoui on the ball in the middle there, and Ahmad in that perfect position where, because of Rashford's here, and that will sort of go under the radar a little bit, Rashford's role in this, it means that Ahmad has got a one-on-one run here down this right-hand side. If Rashford's tucked inside in the middle, it's a 2-on-1 for Ahmad, and regardless of how good he is, you're probably not going to win that. Do you know what I mean? Whereas there, Rashford's holding one man, and Ahmad can make the run off the ball. You see there, the ball goes over from Mazraoui, and it was a perfectly weighted pass into Ahmad. And like you said, I know obviously he couldn't really shoot from there, but we know with Ahmad, he's sort of pass first, shoot second, isn't he? Is his general temperament. He's willing to have a shot as well. But it was the first glimpse that, even from that wing-back position in the Premier League, against, not a great side, of course, in Everton, but he can be dangerous and get in behind. And that pass from Mazraoui was brilliant. We saw a similar pass on the other side from Martinez to Diallo, but Diallo's touch was too heavy and it overran and it didn't work. I think the fact that Ahmad is a winger is going to be massive for him in terms of how we sort of build chances, and we create chances on that side, and he pulls the ball back. You can see there the ball just went slightly in front of Marcus Rashford, and we didn't end up getting a shot away. But straight away, 15 minutes into the game or 16 minutes in, you can see United are very dangerous, and that those runs off the back of the man from Ahmad continue to be dangerous all day. So straight away, that's what he brings to that role going forward. And I think that, we'll get into more of his stuff in a second, because he was brilliant for the Zirkzee goal as well. But you can see he's not losing any of his potency. And if anything, I think having that extra man behind him, or having 3 centre-backs behind him, 3 sort of bigger players behind him, is allowing him to do almost more. I don't know how it's working, but he looks more dangerous going forward than he did when he was playing as a winger. I don't know what that is. Like, how is that happening? Do you get what I mean?
No, I completely agree. And I think there's a touch of the players almost looking for him.
Yeah.
I got the impression that there was a sort of a real belief that this, if we give it to him, he's going to make things happen. And there was a lot of possession at the back, especially when we were 3 goals up. But then it was more often than not, he was the player that was trying to sort of look for him and trying to get things, make things happen. So it is good to see, and the selflessness that you mentioned there is vital. If this is going to work, and if he's going to shine in this role, he has to be selfless. He can be, obviously, if he's through on goal, he's a one-on-one or whatever, he can take a shot, but he has to sort of fit into that role of providing for the others, and he does it. And it's good to see as well, because you've got attackers that get a lot of stick, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend we haven't questioned Joshua Zirkzee even though it's only early doors, or we haven't criticised Marcus Rashford even though people think we don't. We have done. But you're seeing them getting the benefit of playing alongside a player like Amad Diallo. And I think as well, this might, and I don't want to hate on Garnacho, because we do this too often, where if one player plays well, it's like it's a seesaw. You have to criticise someone else. You can't, you know what I mean? Like, if Amad does well, he's got Garnacho. It
was Martial and Rashford for years, wasn't
so
it?
if Martial,
you can only like one.
Yeah, you can't
if you
like both.
the other one, you have to hate the other.
It used to drive me nuts. And I love Garnacho, I think he's a very good player.
Yeah.
But I think this might be a little bit of almost an incentive to him going, look, this guy's being a little bit more selfless, getting his props, getting his flowers, getting more minutes.
Yeah.
You might, I know he's not a wing back, but you might have to do a little bit more of that. Yeah. I'm hoping so anyway, because I still think there's a great player in Garnacho.
I mean, let's move on to this one. It was Zirkzee's goal. But this is, again, we saw Amad sort of on the ball, making runs off the ball as well for Mazraoui to find. This one, he does it all himself. So if you start here, obviously Pickford's got the ball, and you can see Amad just sort of charging up that run, just getting the legs moving a little bit.
I fully lost my mind
there
at this point when he did this, by the way.
Yeah, he's obviously just playing fantastically at this point, isn't he? But you can see him in that corner look, just little sneaky Amad, top right, don't worry about me, I'm just making a little run, don't worry about that. And then next thing you know, that ball gets played there, and as soon as it lands, he's got this instinct of sort of defensive, or sort of, I guess it is defensive, but the way he presses is just catches people out all the time. And you can see it there immediately. He's right on the player as the ball lands at their feet, and pushes again to the next player as they make the pass. And then all of a sudden, I mean, at that point, Bruno Fernandes kind of took over because the way that the ball was played. But it's Amad Diallo from this position here that wins this goal for us. Yeah. It's fantastic.
I think he celebrated like he'd scored as well. And I'm not usually a fan of that when players who don't score celebrate like they have, but I was fully on board with that.
Yeah, but when you think about everyone's obsessed with goals and assists, that's the only number that matters. GA, whatever.
Yeah.
He hasn't got a goal or an assist in this game. In this move here. Yeah. But this is all down to him. And the pass from Bruno,
nailed it, bro.
If anything, I think it was meant to be back for Amad, and it was overhit to Joshua Zirkzee, which at that point, who cares? Because Zirkzee is someone who needs a goal, and he can tuck the ball away, and it's 2-0 Manchester United. But it's, like I said there, that goal all comes from Amad's good work, and everything that happens after that is pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
But off the ball receiving, we saw in the first clip, he's receiving passes over the top as a winger, and there you can see him as a fullback pressing high and winning the ball back. He did the same thing for the fourth goal, and that time he did get his assist because he was the one that tracked it down as well. He did the same thing midweek against Bodo Glimt, where he wins the ball off their defence and we score from it. It's becoming a trend with him that not only as a winger, as an attacker, he's very good, but his pressing and defensive sort of acumen in the opposition half has been brilliant.
It really has, and I mean, I don't want to be negative, and I don't want to hate on Erik ten Hag, because we're talking about Ruben Amorim, and he's the manager now, and we all backed Erik ten Hag, me and you especially. I think right up until it was the Spurs game where I gave up with him. Yeah. I just wonder if he'd have shown maybe a little bit more faith in Amorim, if he could have helped him a little bit more, because he seems like a player that could have played under Erik ten Hag a lot more. And he's certainly, I know you've got to give Amorim some credit, but he's only been here 2 weeks or whatever it is. It's not all like Amorim's come in and all of a sudden Amad Diallo's a completely different player than he was at the end of October. No. He's not that different. He's just got a different role in the team, and I just think he's a player that could play in any team, in any system almost, and certainly could have shone under Eric Ten Hag. But talking about the present, he is shining right now. Yeah. He's getting the crowd going, which, to be fair to him, he did that earlier on in the season against Liverpool when he came on with 3-0 down. He got everyone going. Everyone's loving him. He's loving it. You can see he's enjoying his football. Yeah. And the one thing I love about him as well is there was a couple of moments, and I almost feel dirty saying this, where in the second half, a couple of his passes didn't find the target, whatever. But he kept going, and he kept chasing after the ball. His effort is 10 out of 10. And all we ever want from any player at Manchester United is to show that effort, that desire. If things don't go right or whatever, you don't give up, you keep going. Yeah. And he did that, and what happens? He gets another assist. Yeah, it's just, honestly, I'm running out of good things to say about him. I feel like I've got a touch of the Kobe Mayonnaise with him. Yeah, I'm ready to fight anyone that criticises him. Not you, obviously, I love you, but you wouldn't. But,
on the watch along, we were talking about that same thing of like on the ball, he wasn't quite as tidy as he sometimes is today, but he obviously more than made up for it for the work rate and winning the ball back. And I think because he's small and quite diminutive, and he's not a big lad by any means, is he? I think it's easy to think he wouldn't be good at tackling or be very physical, but he's obviously proven himself to be very good at that. And you mentioned about Amorim's only been here for 2 weeks. He's not completely changed who he is as a person. Amorim spoke in the press conference. We've got a clip here talking about the fact that some of this form started under Ruud van Nistelrooy before. So enough. Let's hear from that.
It was really good. Again, he's in the great moment, but that moment started with Ruud. So I just take advantage of Ruud's work with Amad. He was really good defending and really good attacking. So he has to continue to play like that. You could feel it in the end of the game. He was really, really tired. So you have also to manage that to increase his physical ability.
So you can see there, he kind of almost says what you says, which is, I've not changed who he is. He was doing this under Van Nistelrooy, but the bigger picture is we're just seeing Amad be given a chance. And also, he happens to be playing in a position that really suits him. Yeah, and that wing-back role that's true. is working for him, isn't it? The only thing that we're yet to see is how does he fare one-on-one against not that he's the greatest of players, but I'm just thinking back to games this season. Timo Werner sort of did a number on Mazraoui in a way that no one else has this year, knocking it past him and going. I know he's not the most high-quality player, but someone who's very direct, very pacey. How are they doing that? But part of me thinks with the 5 at the back, you almost limit the number of times where people are playing one-on-one because you've got that extra man in there. Yeah. So whenever Amad is pressing someone or pushing, or let's say he was one-on-one with a Timo Werner, like Mazraoui found himself earlier, you would now have that right centre-back kind of 2-on-1 helping out a little bit. So maybe we won't see that as much, but other than that, every test that's been in front of him, he's handled it really well.
No, it's good as well that he's getting these games now against the likes of Ipswich, Bodo Glimt and Everton, getting used to that position, getting ready. Big test at the weekend, midweek against Arsenal. That's a step up now. Yeah. Big step up from what
Martinelli, who isn't the most high quality player, but again, he has got a touch of the Timo Werner's, which is direct, knock it and run kind of player. Yeah. So we'll see how he handles with that. Another player that doesn't quite have the kind of groundswell of support of an Amad is Joshua Zirkzee. But whilst we saw some of his weaknesses again today, we saw a lot more of his strengths, I thought. And you can see here for the third goal, obviously, on the screen, you still got the 2-0 half-time thing because the game had literally just kicked off. But the ball, Joshua Zirkzee in the middle of the pitch there, as you can see, just in the sort of right-hand side of the picture. The ball comes to him. And from there, it's not completely obvious how he would create a goal for Manchester United, is it?
No.
He's got 3 men around him. He's in a position where he's quite low on confidence. You've got these guys around him here, one pressing from behind as well. Maybe he lays it back off to Mazraoui, maybe sort of 1-2s it with Bruno. And the difficult one is this one out here, which is luckily, and not luckily because of his quality, is the one that he finds, flips it round the corner as you can see there, and then all of a sudden you've got Marcus Rashford playing it out. Sorry, it looks like it's under Rashford's control there, but it's not. It's actually going out to Amad on the right-hand side. He brings it up. The ball gets slowed down. Rashford plays it in behind to him, and then obviously from there, Rashford tucks it away. But that comes from Joshua Zirkzee holding the ball up, flicking it around the corner, finding the right pass, not just the easy pass, and that's one of his strengths. And I think we saw more of his strengths today.
Isn't it mad that like in the space of a week you've had 3 players get 2 goals?
Yeah.
Like after, I'm not saying this is it now because you've got a brace against Everton or Bodo Glimps, whatever. But just the change in it, the narrative, the change in the feeling, the sort of the confidence and everything, it's just been turned up a level, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And you're right, yeah. Straight away from kickoff, getting that goal, Marcus as well, because the first one I've not seen it properly. I think it took a deflection off your man Branthwaite, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Yeah. Big deflection. I think it's
was
still
it?
Rashford's goal, but it was basically going in that half of the goal,
Right.
and then he got a deflection and went in that half of the goal.
Which I'm not, a goal is a goal. I'm not
fine.
criticising Marcus Rashford for scoring, unlike some people. But that second one obviously is a lot more clear cut.
Yeah.
And it was just good to see. And there's there's a real belief at the minute. I think the fans are believing in it. And you're looking at Ruben Amorim and seeing how animated he is and what he's doing, and it's like, it feels differently. And I know we've been here before, and I know me and you probably people say, well, you two said it about Eric Ten Hag, I said it about Jose, I'm not going to pretend I haven't. But if you're asking me right now, am I enjoying what I'm seeing? Do I believe he's the right man for the job? And do I believe we can be successful under Ruben Amorim? Why wouldn't I? From the evidence so far. Even his press conferences, like he said there about just being a little bit humble and, if you want to get some brownie points with Manchester United fans, praise Ruud van Nistelrooy. Yeah. That's an easy one for you.
You mentioned the press conferences. He was asked about this as well because it's now the first game under him we scored after 90 seconds. The second game it was another basically 90-second goal, and this third game we're scoring 30 seconds into the second half. He was asked, what's going on with all these sort of early goals or just after half time, and let's hear what he said.
3 goals now that you've scored almost directly from kickoff. Is that something you work on in training or try and instill in the guys in the dressing room?
No, I'm just so really, really lucky. I'm really, really lucky. No, we just want to play well because it's better to start a game by scoring. But if you look at these 3 games, all the decisive moments was for us, and you have to acknowledge that. Today we start very well, but then we lose the control of the game. We were following the ball without any possession after the 15 minutes, but then we score in the set pieces play. So that was key point for us. And then near the half time we score again. Then in the first play again we score the 3rd goal. So we have to acknowledge that in the right moments in these 3 games we score goals. On Thursday, I think we control very well the ball in the possession. Today, we had some difficulties after the 15 minutes, and we had some possessions just to keep the ball, not to be so dangerous. But let's see, 3 games without training, they did a great job. So this victory more from the players than the coach.
As you can see there, that was a good. I mean, it was Gaz Drinkwell, wasn't it? Obviously,
yes,
of this channel
of full-time Devils fame.
Full-time Devils, yeah. Who asked that question? It's a good question because it's one of those things in it that I bet Eric Ten Hag will be looking at, thinking, why couldn't we have a bit of that luck? Why couldn't we happen to just score a couple of goals really early on or straight after half time? It seemed to always be the other way for him, didn't it?
Yeah,
and
it did.
The little bits of luck that you like to see seem to be going our way so far. But that's what happens when you've got a bit more confidence and you've got players who are more up for it and a bit more energy, because those presses seem to work when everyone's just 5% more into it. Some certain things, it's not just fortune. Good things happen when you do the right things.
They do, you're right, bro. And what made me laugh about that goal as well, it was just half the Everton end emptied out.
Did it? Yeah. They showed it a little bit on the telly, everyone walking out.
Evertonians have been through a lot, haven't they?
Yeah,
There was 2 things that really made me laugh today. And I've got nothing against Everton. I'm not Ronaldo Brown. I quite like Everton.
He was loving it today.
Yeah, I bet he was.
Yeah.
But it was that, and then Ashley Young coming off at 4-0 or whatever and taking the applause. Off the United fans. Brilliant. I'd have been raging if I was an Evertonian and seen one of my players like that as the 4-0 down.
Was it?
Yeah.
I didn't realise that. I thought
United fans were giving him a round of applause.
Because if Everton are 2-0 up, he's not getting that round of applause, is he?
He was getting a round of applause. Some people chanted his song as well, na 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 and all that.
Yeah.
And he was like, he took it as well. I thought, bro,
that's great. I love that.
I'd be fuming if I was an Evertonian and saw one of my players 4-0 down, taking the applause off the United fans. Like, no worries, lads. Cheers.
That's great. One other thing that sort of happened in the game that didn't really get much of a mention, because when it happened, and there was the Bruno penalty incident, wasn't there, in the first half, which he didn't go down, and then because he didn't go down, he was never going to get it.
That was Stonewall, wasn't it?
It was
because I'm blind, but at the time
Stonewall, but it was a penalty.
Right, I thought
there wasn't like an obvious moment where he got like kicked over.
Oh, right, okay,
But there was
sorry.
enough sort of half bits of contact that, and Ashley Young, who it was, didn't get any of the ball.
Because he had a bit of needle, didn't he? Because he got megged.
He just skinned him
Did he get
before
megged?
megged him,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I said he's gonna foul him here.
Yeah.
Because you could see he was raging.
If Bruno had gone down, I think it would have definitely. Been
no, I agree with you.
And the second one as well, which we've got here, was Amad Diallo again, almost winning a penalty, or I say almost winning a penalty. I think he should have won a penalty. So you see him in the box, and he gets in these positions, Amad, where you think, looking at that screenshot right there is no way he should ever come out with the ball here. I mean, maybe he could have passed it off to Rashford or Martinez, as you can see in the bottom corner there. But the fact that he sort of cuts back onto his right foot, makes himself a little bit of space, and then a little feint sends, who is it, Tarkowski maybe, into the middle of the pitch, and then he's got some space to go back again. He's done the 2 players on him. Yeah. But you can see there, I think it's Doucouré's arm on his hip, and he goes to pull it, and he pulls him back. He does pull him back. And in the same way that Martinez got booked for pulling back their striker in the first half, there was more contact on this and the tug on Amad there, and he goes down and doesn't get given as a penalty. But I think half the reason that didn't get given, we can't see it there because the subscribers, but in the top corner you would see 92-19. This is at the very end of the game. United are 4-0 up. The last 10 minutes of the game had really slowed down in terms of speed anyway. It was like, let's just wait for this thing to end because United have won. I think if that's 1-1, or if it's, let's say United had started 1-0 up and they just got one back, and then one of our players does that to the opposition at Old Trafford, that's getting given 100% of the time.
You're like half the lads I stand with. Everyone was saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Just what you've just said, and I completely agree with you. And you know what, right? Most people weren't that bothered. I lost my mind. Because
Rashford and Amorim lost their minds as well.
Yeah, and you know why Rashford lost his mind?
Because he might have been taking it because Bruno wasn't on the pitch.
Yeah, it's his hat-trick. He's not got a Premier League hat-trick, has he?
Has he not?
No. You know, seen that little tweet meme that goes around like Cole Palmer, 10 games, got an hat-trick, or whatever he got, 5 hat-tricks.
Yeah.
Marcus Rashford, 500 Premier League games, whatever it is. I know it's not that many. So yeah, he would have, or not worst case scenario, but another scenario, he might have even let Joshua Zirkzee get an hat-trick. One of them would have took it.
Yeah.
So I was fuming about that, but I'm at the other end of the pitch, and I'm mindful of the fact that I'm blind, and I thought I might watch that back, and it's not even a penalty. But listening to you, obviously was. I'll go through some of the comments before I wrap up. Brian Casey has been a member of the academy for 22 months. Thanks for your support, Brian. We scored 7 goals in 2 games. The times they are a-changing. Also, Mario De Silva says, "Is Eric Ten Hag Aaron Atkinson?" I hope not. Global Frank.
I think we hope he is though, don't we? Because that means that Amorim's Fergie.
Ah, right. Oh, sorry. Do you know what?
His comments afterwards.
Yeah, I thought you meant he's going to start commentating and saying racist things.
No.
Right, yeah. Forgive me. I got completely carried away there, and Joe's managed to bring me back to planet Earth. Yeah, I hope he is. Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah, I literally thought that's what you meant, and that's now I think about it. That was insane. What I just thought. Why would anyone comment that? Sorry, Mario. A very good question, and we hope so. I don't know what I was thinking. Global Frank 95. Welcome to the academy. Loads of people having a bit of a debate about the Diallo not getting minutes under Eric Ten Hag. A few people saying that. Cooper Fuka says Rasmus serves a different game of purpose. Rotating him for Zirk is a good look for his game time and development. Also allows a different option up front with Rashford, which was effective today. I have to sort of give Zirkzee a little bit of an apology. I know we've backed him on the channel on camera. We've said, you got to give him support, but privately I've been questioning him. I've been like, I'm not seeing this, and I'm worried. And I think today, I think your analysis was spot on, Joe, because it wasn't like it was all sunshine and rainbows and he's the next Ruud van Nistelrooy. He had a good game. There's still slight flaws that you can see, but you can see how he can fit into this system.
Yeah, you can see what positive things he can bring.
Yeah, which I thought was spot on. I really enjoyed that, Joe. It's good stuff, and it sort of clued me up a little bit as to half the things I missed because I was too busy ranting and cheering and all the rest of it because I was giddy because we're 4-0 up and I'm not used to it. I don't know what
fantastic,
to do.
Isn't it? It's really good.
myself.
Yeah, right. Thank you for joining us at home. Thank you, of course, Jay, for coming down after the game. Made your way back to the studio.
It's always nice when we win.
Yeah.
This is why we only do this about once a year.
Yeah, exactly. We won't be doing it after the Arsenal game. No, hopefully we will be doing it after the Arsenal game. Thank you for joining us. Hit like on the video as well if you enjoyed it. 4-0, Jay. We get used to this.
4-0.
4 goal. We're plus 4 goal difference and everything.
Really?
We're like a proper
Are we in the top half of the table now as well?
Yes.
Mate, I'm going to get a nosebleed. This is amazing. It's all happening.
See you in a bit.